In this video, I'll teach you how to draw the human head in different positions in the manga comic style. I'll show you 4 different level exercises for you to practice and achieve a professional result. We'll go over the building blocks of the head, and then we're going to see how the facial features sit on the face. Let's get into it. For this first level, all you need to know how to draw is a circle. To be honest, you can cheat this one with the ellipse tool if you want, but I would recommend you not, because this will train your dexterity of your hand. So practice drawing circles anytime and anywhere you can. And even if you practice a lot and you cannot manage to make a perfect circle, that's alright. You can add a little bit to it or subtract a little bit to make it as close to perfect as possible. So you don't need to do it in one go. Oh, and just another tip. Don't practice very small circles with just your wrist. Practice with your elbow or your shoulder if you want to go crazy and draw super big. Alright, on to level 2. We're going to draw a circle again, just like on level 1, but we're gonna transform it into a 3D shape, a sphere. And we just do that with 3 lines that go around the sphere, something similar to those lines you find on a basketball. And yes, even if a sphere does not have angles or planes, after adding these lines, we can assign points of reference. And we're going to practice drawing the head in different rotations. For level 3, let's copy the same shape we did on level 2, and we're going to decide on the front plane, where 2 lines do meet. Now, we're going to make that vertical line straight down from that middle point. That will be the line marking the face in half. Then, let's connect the corner of the face on the other side of the same line where the 2 lines meet, to the bottom of the vertical line that we just extended, which will be the chin, by the way. Let's make this connection with a curved line, and I think you can already see this looking like a head already. Let's do another one facing the left. Now you can play with the curve of the jaw. You can make the jaw longer or shorter. It's up to you and your style. And to take this one a bit further, let's make the jaw lines sharper, connecting from the marked points with 2 different lines each. Try to make the bending of the lines relatively on the same level. The last level is the one that will hold everything together. Let's see how the facial features sit on the face. Start doing the head shape, just like the level 3. We can add a little chin gap, just to not let it be pointy. Let's then delete some guidelines and add an ear to the side of the jaw that we see the most, on the same level as the horizontal line. Okay, we can do it again to practice, and this time we're gonna take it a step forward. This time, let's draw the eyebrow line more in the middle of the face. This way, we're going to indicate that the head is straight and not looking down, like the previous example. After deleting some guidelines, we're going to connect the jaw lines to the chin, and we're going to add the ear. Now, pay close attention, because this is really important. Add the nose with a kite-like shape, and this shape will look wider on the farther side of the face from us. And also for this view, let's add a counterline for the nose line, for the bridge between the eyes. Then the eyes, which are just slanted rectangles with a rounded part for the bottom. The farther eye will look narrower than the eye closer to us. Add then 2 little circles for the iris. Especially for male, the iris will look smaller and much smaller than for girls. For the mouth, 1 or 2 lines usually are enough to convey a good range of emotions. And with a little indication for the lower part of the lip, we make the mouth even better looking. Now it's time to delete the facial guidelines, and very importantly, we need to delete the correct part of the nose. In anime, usually just one side of the nose is indicated, and it depends on the face position. For the eyebrows, let's leave a little space between those and the eyes, again, depending on the expression, especially since we have a more neutral one here. Alright, that's a decent looking face, but let's train this one again and make it better and add more features to it. So let's repeat this process. This time, I've added a hairline above the eyebrows and jumped straight into the eyes, just to show you that you can follow whichever order you desire. Again, we draw a kite shape for the nose, a smiley mouth with a bottom lip indicated, then we delete a part of the nose and draw the eyebrows with 2 shapes. Let's then draw a shape around the head, following the form of the head, but the back is slightly bigger than the front, since the face is looking to our right. This is going to be the base for our hair. We can then add some hair features on top of it and color it in black. Let's then add some details for the ears and all we need to do is add a neck with a cylindrical shape that attaches under the head. So let's recap the shape of the head here. With this blue sketch we're going to make, we can think of the whole head form with just two shapes, a sphere for the cranium and a triangle for the jaw or the lower face. And for the other angles, the bottom part of this triangle is going to be in different positions depending on the head rotation, which is gonna be the right, the center, or the left, or anything in between. Alright, the character is looking nice already, but we can make it even better. So we're going to repeat the process of building the head, just like in level 3, and make the head look to the left. But now, very importantly, we're going to add more volume to the back of the head. That's right, if you notice, the previous head we drew looks a little bit thin. Mistakes are okay, if we are aware, we can always improve. So that's what we're doing. We're going to add everything just the same. For the mouth, let's make it a little bit more serious this time, and for the eyebrows, a little bit more interesting, like he's looking at his friend next to him in surprise. What's up with you, bro? Unlike the previous character, let's also add the double eyelid with a curved line that's cut in the middle. And by the way, this curved line will look closer or farther from the eyes depending on how open the eyes are. In this case, they are kinda far from them, since he has half closed eyes. After adding some shape and features for the hair and the neck, that's gonna be it for this view. Just like in the previous example, let me just show you how this head is constructed. Just by adding a triangle shape like this at the bottom of the cranium sphere, the head shape is going to look great. It's a secret I've kinda figured out recently, and it honestly helps me out a lot to keep the heads at about the same height, which is something I kinda struggled for a long time. Congrats, this was the most difficult view to draw. Before going to the next view, I'll just ask that if you liked the video until now, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. This way, you're telling me that you really like this kind of content. It's a huge help. Thank you. Alright, on to the next view. For this one, we're going to skip level 1. By now you must be an expert on drawing circles, but hey, more practice won't hurt you. For level 2, it's going to be simpler than the 3/4 view, since we just need to draw a flat cross in the middle of the sphere. The cross needs to be at the most center possible, or just below the center for the horizontal line, but the vertical line really needs to be at the center. Here you must practice the symmetry. The space on the left needs to be the same as the space on the right. Now for level 3, we're going to add the jaw lines starting from the side of the sphere or the head to the chin. If we're going to do it with one curved line, you're going to quickly notice that you're going to struggle making them both symmetrical. And that's alright, I have a solution. We're going to do the same thing that we did for the 3/4 view. We're going to draw the jaw with two separate lines, and then we can just make the connection between both smoother. At level 4, to start off, I want to show you that the symmetry of the face might look off not just because of the jawlines, but also because of the middle vertical line. If placed poorly, everything subsequently will look off. So before going into a next step, check if the previous steps are solid. Alright, moving on. We're going to add the ear to the side of the head. Here the ears are going to look a bit narrower, since we don't see them facing us as much. On the topic of the ear, let me just show you how it looks in a simplified manner. There is a prominent triangle shaped in the inner part of the ear, so we're going to start with that. Then from the top, let's follow the shape of the ear with two curves and then stop. At the bottom side of the triangle, it's going to be the whole of the ear, so let's make it small, and then let's add two more lines perpendicular to the upper ones we drew before, something like this. For the ear in the front view, most of these details will be hidden because of the upper shape, since it has volume, so it looks like this. Alright, that one almost deserved its own video. Let's look at the basic shape of the eyes and how I draw them. For me, they are basically rectangles, sitting straight, and the upper corners are slanted to the opposite side of the nose, like this. And by the way, if I have to credit someone, would be Kuzumari. I learned this technique from him. For the nose, you already know it. It's going to sit directly in the middle of the face, and it's going to look the same. But since we are seeing the head from the front, you can choose either side of the kite shape to delete. And you can also show one side of the bridge of the eyes too. Let's clean a little bit of the guidelines and add a mouth. A simple line or a disconnected one will be good, and let's not forget the lower lip indication too. it's time for the eyebrows, and if I can give you an advice on it, is it that you can make it a little wider than the eye width, but that one can vary with style and the person's eyebrows. For the hair, we're going to add that circle shape around the head, this time symmetrical on both sides, but the top will have a little bit more space. And let's add a starry shape for the hair. To make it a little bit more appealing, I'm going to add variation to the shapes. And to fix the top part, since it's looking kind of flat, I'm going to add a little bit more volume there. There, the front head is looking alright, but the eyes are still lacking. Let's practice this one again. Let's make a more of a childish face to see how things will differ. And to be honest, only by playing with the spaces between the features will make a huge impact on this one. Here, I'm going to draw the eyebrow level a little bit more down on the sphere, and the facial features are going to be more crammed together, meaning less space between them. Let's give him a sly look on hair and make him look mischievous by giving him a huge smirk and raising his eyebrows. Another thing to indicate he is a child, it is going to be the width of the neck. By making it thinner, he looks younger. Alright, cool, but how does a girl look, you might ask? Let's look at it, shall we? Starting the same with a circle and a cross, let's make the sides of the face with curved lines this time. If you struggle with this one, just like I said before, make it with 2 straight lines and then around the sharp corner a little bit. Now for the eyes, let's make them a little bit bigger and bigger irises too inside. And thicker eye lines, and of course, we should not forget the eyelashes. For the nose, let's indicate it less, with just a little small line in the middle. And for the mouth, let's add a more complicated line this time with a little dip in the middle. And also, let's draw the lips fully, but sitting narrower compared to the whole width of the mouth. The eyebrows now, let's make them smaller and thinner too. And the ears, not sticking out as much, with some earrings if you like. For the hair, we add the circle around the head and give her shortish hair. Let's also fill the space between her eyes with a big hair strand. Alright, let's delete some guidelines, fix a little bit of the hair shapes, and add a neck. And that's gonna be it. That is how you draw the front view. Now, let's check the last view we have on the list, the side view. For the side view, level 1 is not going to change, but those circles still need more training, don't they? For level 2 though, the cross will be the same as for the front view, but there's a slight difference. We're going to add more volume to the back of the head, since the head from the side looks wider than the front or another angle. And we're going to see why at level 3. So we need that volume to make the head not look flat. And another important note on this one. Sometimes, depending on the height of the jaw, we'll want to make the cross section a little bit more on the back of the head. Let's check this one on level 4. For level 4, I drew a longer jaw to explain this particularly. The vertical line for the jaw, or where the ear sits, needs to sit a little bit more in the back of the head. And that's why we need to shift the cross section. And of course, after doing that, we must also add that volume at the back of the head to make the shape look better. Let's do this again and take it a step further. After removing the cross section and adding volume to the back, let's clean the guidelines and add an ear and an eye to the character. It goes without explanation, from this view only one eye will be visible. And not only that, but that eye will also look relatively different from the other views. This time we'll make a triangle for the eye. We're going to draw a vertical line for the front of it, then a straight-ish line for the top, and then close the shape with a curved line. Let's see how we're going to draw the nose from this angle. If you remember the shape we did for the other angles, well, here we're going to draw half of it. And before we do that, let's first carve a little triangle in the middle level of the eyes. This will be a prerequisite for our nose. This is the space between the eyebrow bone part and the nose. Now we draw the nose from the bottom of that triangle. We continue that line outward. Let's draw it back to the face, leaving a space for the mouth. Notice that the mouth area will now look a little bit more extruded. This is good, and it will make the face look more appealing. Now let's draw another head, and this time let's take it one step further. Let's jump at the step we were on the previous example. Right on the second line of the nose. Let's draw a tiny line down for the space between the nose and the upper lip. Let's go out and back in for the upper lip. Maybe we can do a line indicating the mouth here. Then, from below the upper lip, all we need to do is draw a line downwards. You can make it a little bit round and make him have a big chin. A tip for this mouth part is that you want to make the mouth sit above the middle part of the mouth area, that is, between the nose and the chin. Alright, let's add an eyebrow sitting in front of the eye, with only two lines, one thick going up and a thinner one going down. Let's not forget to add more mass to the back of the head. And let's also make the forehead a little bit more straight or sharp. Going back to the eye, let's draw an iris looking ahead. And this one is going to look flatter, since the eye is actually a ball, and the iris is not looking straight to the camera, but side for us. Then we draw the hair level with a stair system, and then let's add a neck and connect the chin part with a horizontal line. And let's also add the Adam's apple for the neck of male figures. For the back of the head, let's add even more volume and make the neck have a better connection and blend with the head. For the hair, it's going to have some shape for the front, volume at the top, and the back of the head is going to have less volume, since it's closer to the cranium mass. And that's gonna be a side head done. Let's quickly go over another one in the opposite direction. So for this one, I was experimenting with an even wider head shape, to see if the head is going to look better. And you can decide how much width works for you. And that's going to be all for the side view, and for all the views for that matter. I know this is a lot of information, so take the exercises seriously and take your time practicing each of the levels. Alright, to end this video, for this final part, I'll just draw some heads from different angles. You can even try different head tilts. With the methods I explained to you, you can manage. Sorry to not go into detail for that one. It's already a pretty big video, as you can see. And by the way, this video took much longer to make than the other ones, so I wanted to thank you for watching it. And I would appreciate if you'd give it a like and consider subscribing, if you got value out of it, of course. I'll be making more tutorials like this, so it really helps me see us build this channel little by little. And every bit of support matters hugely, especially at this time. And that's gonna be it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next session.